So you're welcome to another section of the AT Library tutorial series. This particular tutorial is going to focus on unlocking the power of ChatGPT. Sometimes we would like to draw more conclusions or insight from our data, or actually we normally push in some content onto ChatGPT and we want to gather some insight from the content that we have pushed onto ChatGPT, but it looks like that content is actually bulky, and ChatGPT will throw an error or an exception, which we will demonstrate very soon. But in order to overcome such an error or exception, we use file upload. So we are going to demonstrate to you how you can upload files on ChatGPT. Now, after uploading the file, you can query or you can question whatever content that you have. You can ask ChatGPT to analyze your document. That is why we are saying that upload your file for data analysis, or file uploads for data analysis demystified. So we are going to see, this is the part 1 version of our tutorial. In subsequent days, we are going to push in the part 2 aspect of this particular tutorial. Okay, so we do some demo to demonstrate to you how you can upload file on ChatGPT. All right, so let's quickly do some demo. All right, so we have our ChatGPT over here. Okay, so let me show you the error or the exception that ChatGPT is likely to throw to you. Assuming you have this thing. So this is a file. I have some content over here actually. So this is what I have. Now I'm going to push everything here onto ChatGPT, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT a particular question, and let's see how ChatGPT is going to respond to that. Okay, sure. So, all right. Now I'm going to copy everything as I said earlier on. So I have this side. So let's say just Control A to highlight everything. Then you just do a copy and that's all. So I just want to highlight everything. Okay, so I copy this. Now I go to my ChatGPT. I paste this. All right. Now let's check something. I'm going to say that, okay, based on the information given above, analyze the document and draw some conclusions. About it. All right, so I'm done. Let's see the response that ChatGPT is going to give us. All right, so you realize that there's an error over here. So there was an error generating a response. So that is it. So ChatGPT wasn't able to break this information down actually to be able to deduce what I really want from my data or from my content, because I'm asking ChatGPT to analyze the document and draw some conclusions about it. Now, how are you going to bypass this particular error or this exception that we see over here? We are going to use the submit file. Exactly. So that's what we are going to do. So let me just refresh this page. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate to you how we can bypass this particular regenerate the response again, what ChatGPT indicated to us earlier on. Okay, so this your content, right? And you want to push everything to ChatGPT so that you can make some insights here. You can just question ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT everything that you really want to ask about your data. What you are supposed to do is to open a text file. So txt, a note file. Yeah, that is a notepad actually. That's what I mean. Yes. So open a notepad, then which is also a text file. Yeah. So you have your information. Let's highlight everything again. Control A, copy. Now come to my text file and paste it. Now you are supposed to save this one. So how do you want me to save it? Let's say for demonstration. Okay, so we have for demonstration. Let's save it. It's on our desktop. Okay, so we close it. Right. Now we are going to push this thing over here. So I have my submit file. So I click on submit file. We search for the file for demonstration. That's what we have over here for demonstration.txt. We click on it. Now you realize that previously what ChatGPT wasn't able to capture, it threw an exception. You realize that with the submit file, ChatGPT is processing. So you realize that the processing is ongoing. Yeah, so that's what we have. It's still ongoing. That is pushing my data. So ChatGPT is breaking it into sections. Yeah, so we have to wait for the what we see over here to end. That is the generating section to end. So we just have to take some time. Then now if ChatGPT captures everything, we can then move on to ask ChatGPT to give us some insight from the data that we have pushed. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. All right. So ChatGPT is done actually. So we have some sections. That is how it's going to work. So we have part 3 of the for demonstration.txt. So ChatGPT just took its time to break our content into sections. Now, once we have this, and every section is like ChatGPT is going to give you a summary. So yeah, so this is like a summary of what of this particular section. You also have a particular summary of that. You see the part 2. So this is a summary, and you also have the first one. So this is also a summary of the first section. All right. Now we want to query whatever we pushed over there. So based on what we have, we can now say that now I want you to analyze. I want you to analyze the document and draw some conclusions about it. Okay, so that's what we have over there. So based on the provided document, several key points can be identified or inferred. So you realize that this actually we find it very difficult to achieve that in our first query because ChatGPT threw an exception or an error telling us that we have to regenerate it or we have to try again. But with a submission file, you can push everything in there. ChatGPT will break your content in that particular file and take it time to analyze it based on any prompt that you want ChatGPT to work with. All right, so we can also go ahead and just type something like whatever it has been raised over here. You can say, what suggestion do you think that will be best to address, let's say, any challenges, any challenge raised over here? So we can say that, okay, so let's try this one. So you can say, okay, so what suggestions? Say something. So we have more suggestions. Okay. So let's see what suggestions. Do you think are the best to address the challenges? What suggestions do you think All right, so we are going to ask ChatGPT this question based on the document and also based on our first query. So what suggestion do you think are the best to address the challenges that was raised? So, okay, so we have some, based on the challenges mentioned in the document, the following suggestion can be considered to address them: increase ambulance fleet, improve emergency response time. So actually where the content that was pushed, the file that was pushed, the content contained in that file was basically about ambulance service. Yes, so we realized that per the challenges raised, ChatGPT is also giving some suggestion that we can use to address the challenges. So this is how you can train ChatGPT actually by feeding ChatGPT with a content which by way of submitting a file, and now you can based on that to ask ChatGPT to give you any response with respect to the query or the prompt that you want ChatGPT to follow. Okay, so thank you once again for watching this section of ET Library tutorial series. Always remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel because we have a lot quality and good videos for you. Thank you.